regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined, specifically LD Photo. This particular video is an AMA. If you're new here and you're not sure how this works, you leave your question in the comment section down below and we answer it in upcoming video. Today's question comes from Tim, and Tim says, I recently purchased the Olympus Omd Em-10 Mark II. These names are super long. And I've been having a blast using it. Wow, that's good to hear. Good for you. The only thing I haven't quite figured out is what editing software I should use. I don't really want to spend all that money on Lightroom just yet. Are there any good alternatives on a budget? Love your videos. Thank you, Tim. Love your question. There's a ton of alternatives out there. The tricky part is finding a good one. Before we even get way deep into it, have you thought about using your phone? The stuff you can get from the Lightroom and the Photoshop apps that are available on your phone is pretty good. Especially if you have an iPad even. The iPad version of Lightroom it's pretty good. I did some adjustments to the same image, both on the desktop and both on the iPad, and I was blown away to find that the results were damn near almost identical. So I was pretty happy about that. This is something you may not have thought about if you already have an iPad in the house, or even on your iPhone or your Android phone. Sure, you may not get the luxury of your huge monitor and your mouse and keyboard, and you're sitting in the dark for hours like editing pictures. You may not get that experience, but you'll get the job done. So look into that. In terms of alternatives for Lightroom on the desktop, Edgar uses a very, very powerful software called Affinity Pro, or Affinity Photo, I think. Affinity Photo. And I've been watching Edgar and his photography increase over the last year or so. And it is mind-boggling how good this man's work is. Not only is his eye as a photographer really improved, but the results that he's getting out of this Affinity Photo is bar none. And I mean, if you really think about it, what makes Lightroom so special? The ability to adjust contrast and shadows and highlights. These are things that any app can do. And Affinity Photo is really pushing that concept and proving it that you can get a budget conscious piece of software and get the job done. So you may want to check that out. I'm currently looking at the site and it is coming in at a mind-bending. There's a lot to be said for that. Another popular one that I've seen is Capture One, and this one's sort of stirring up a lot of controversy in the photography world. If you guys check out Ted Forbes' YouTube channel, he had a few videos a while back comparing the results from Capture One to Lightroom, and it was pretty shocking. It was pretty dope. But Capture One is not cheap. It comes in at $300, and I guess that probably does run you $100 or $150 cheaper, maybe even $200 cheaper than you would pay outright for Lightroom. It is cheaper, but at $300, I wouldn't consider that a budget option, but it is a good alternative. There's another app out there. It's called Luminar. Hang on, let me see. Luminar is a less popular one. I haven't seen too much of it. Wow, $60, $70 for Luminar. I haven't seen too much of it for whatever reason, but it's also a pretty capable alternative to Lightroom. Kind of the same, the same advanced, medium to advanced. Oh, sorry. I wouldn't call it beginner. It's got the medium level editing features, if that makes sense. But what it is missing is a lot of the file organization that you get and the catalog stuff that you get with Lightroom. Now, going back to Lightroom, I'm not sure if you know, I see you're worried about a budget. One of the things that I like about Adobe's new subscription model is how accessible it makes the product. You can get Lightroom and Photoshop together as a bundle, the photography bundle, for I think $25 a month. So you're not, yes, you can buy the classic version where you go and you spend your $500 and you get the software and it's yours forever. But it's also super accessible if you just pay that monthly fee, and maybe that takes the bite out of it, or maybe you're just a super financial cautious person. You're like, nope, that $25 times 12 is still too much. I don't know, but just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. I would make your first stop at Affinity Photo, and from what Edgar tells me, they do a pretty good job at giving you some really strong features in the free version. So you really only have to upgrade to the Pro, which at $50 is pretty good, but you really only have to upgrade if you want to support, which I do recommend. If you like the product, you spend that money to help. But yeah, I hope this was a good list of alternatives for you. Start with your phone, see if you can get it done there. If you got a tablet, start with that. Then you move on to Affinity Pro. Then look into Luminar. That's a little cheap, a little more expensive, like $20 more than Affinity. And then in the middle ground between that and Lightroom, you would see your Capture One. LD Familia, I want you guys to hit the comment section below and list your alternatives to Lightroom if you have any. Give us some detailed responses there, like what you like about your specific alternative and why you chose it, and we can help Tim get more familiar with his camera. My name is Ramon. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. We have plenty more content coming. I am out of here. Peace.
Well, I guess, and the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just